Hello, hello. Yes. So thank you all for showing up, and for those who will watch this on the replay. I'm just this was kind of a spur of the moment almost, because I didn't quite think I was going to hit 2,000 as soon as I did. And so I had a whole bunch of stuff planned, and I was like, you know what? Let's kind of get out here. If if we can get some people to show up live, that'd be great. If you watch on the replay, that's awesome as well. And just kind of tell you what I'm up to, what's going to be happening here on the channel, kind of going forward, as well as what's going on with my books. And what you might have seen in the thumbnail there is I have now set my release date for book 3, More Than a God War. And I was kind of going back and forth because what I want to do and what I still think I'm going to be able to do, it may be tight, but these releases are always hectic, right? There's always something, at the last second. But I'm trying to release my audiobook along with the ebooks and the paperback and hardcover and everything. Thanks, Kay. I appreciate it. Actually, you never planned on it getting like this. I thought maybe I'd show up and maybe a couple hundred people might come on, might follow my stuff. Yeah, so I'm actually in talks with my narrators, because More Than a Vampire had a dual narrator team. And so I'm talking with them right now and seeing if they if it's feasible for them to get get the book narrated a week before release date. And now I don't know if this is just in general. I don't know if traditionally published authors or companies have like an inside track where they have something special, but I figured out really the only way, unless there's some other trick a self-published person can tell me out there, to release your audiobook on the same day, you have to have a pre-release. And normally from all the research I've done, most of the time they say don't do a pre-release unless you have a decent size audience, where you're going to be selling a good bit of books every day because of the weird way the algorithm is. But I wanted to release it. I wanted to release the audiobooks the same day. So I'm probably going to have like a 10-day pre-release, and that'll give, because when you go in, if nobody knows, right? I don't expect hardly anybody here to know, but when you get an audiobook done and then you have to put it in something called ACX, and for my first audiobook, it was actually pretty quick. It only took them 5 days, or 4 or 5 days, and then they automatically put my audiobook through. So that was awesome. It happened pretty quick. But the last one, More Than a Vampire, it took 10 days. It took a full 10 days, for them to actually get the audiobook through. Hey, Chaz. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And you're about to roll over 1,000 here shortly. Yeah. So that's why I'm thinking I'm going to do a 10-day pre-release, give Amazon the full time it takes for them to go through the audiobook, because I assume maybe somebody has to listen to it and make sure it all functions correctly and there's nothing weird in the book that's not supposed to be there. But yeah, it just took them 10 days last time, which was kind of annoying. But yeah, so I'm going to do a simultaneous release on that. So I'm just waiting for them to get back to me. I would have done it like October 1st, but like I said, I want to give my narrators plenty of time to get it done. Some cool stuff that I have coming up. I believe it'll be next Sunday will be our Witcher discussion with me, JC and Byrne, and then we got Bryce from Shelf Centered, and my friend Nathan is jumping on this one. Hopefully he's not sick this time, but yeah, he's going to be jumping on for that Witcher discussion. And then the 27th of this month, so that next Sunday, I'm going to have Sarah from Sarah Reads on. I've been wanting to get her on the channel for a long time. She's one of my favorites, one of my original people. Oh, I appreciate it sneaking in here, Chaz. But yeah, like Sarah, she was one of the first people that I caught as I was coming down, because y'all, it seems like everybody starts from like Daniel Green, Murphy, Elliott, then you find Mike, and then you kind of start finding all these other people. And she was kind of on that next ring, because I came into BookTube just as she was starting the Dresden Files, I think. So I kind of followed her journey. So we're going to get to, chat with her the 27th. Now, I have a pretty cool, announcement. I'm actually going to be interviewing a YouTuber. Now, he's not really a booktuber. He does. His name is Greg Owens. He's got a, relative to our circle here, he's got a pretty big channel. I think he's got like 26,000 subscribers or something like that. But my best friend put me on to him, started sending me his videos, texting me his videos like, oh, check out this guy, check him out. And he does a lot of TV and movie reviews, and he has some really cool, really good opinions on what's going on in Hollywood right now. So yeah, once I don't have it here now, because I wasn't sure that I was gonna, was gonna be able to get him on, but I'll put his channel in the description once this is over here. But his name is Greg Owens, and yeah, so I just emailing back and forth with him. So I'll have him on. I'm thinking it's probably going to be next Saturday, maybe. But like I'll post it, and I'll post all this stuff. But yeah, I was just, getting to 2,000 subscribers was, crazy. And it's weird. Everything kind of fluctuates. I didn't think I was sitting at like six or 700 last November, and then it just took off. Like the channel just kind of took off for a little while through the holiday season. And a lot of stuff I do is, I know a lot of the subscribers come from the shorts. Whether I'm talking about books on the shorts, or through my monster creature mythology clips that I do. I get a lot of from there, but I have seen some of them starting to trickle in to watch the full-length videos, which is the plan, right? Yeah, want to get everybody in here. But yeah, it kind of, and Mike, even I chatted with Mike from Mike's Book Reviews a few weeks ago, and he was telling me that that's kind of how it goes. You'll see these ups and downs, and I was kind of in a down for like the last month or so. So I thought I wouldn't hit it as fast as I did. And then it seems like once you, I was teetering on that 10, I would lose a couple and gain a couple, and I couldn't get past the 1990. And then finally it just kind of popped over the edge. Maybe that's conspiracy theory about YouTube or whatever. But yeah, I definitely think once you crest over a milestone like 500, 1,000, and then 2,000, like in the last couple of days, as soon as I hit, I've seen my growth kind of return to normal. But that could just be a conspiracy theory. But yeah, I'm going to be doing some book giveaways. I just because I ran out of physical books, and so I have ordered more, and they have arrived. So I have a few dozen books of both More Than a Vampire, and then More Than a Gunslinger. I have multiples of those. I've had some people recently contacting me wanting like autographed copies or whatever, which we can do that. I've normally been doing it through PayPal, and then I'll just mail it out. And I do it relatively, I don't try to really make any more money than, what it costs from Amazon, just because I appreciate people wanting the book. So if you want an autographed copy, just you can email me or you can comment in here, and then we can email back and forth about like PayPal and where to send it, and I'll try to get it out I tend to get them out pretty quickly to anybody, but all I need is a comment in here, and I'm just going, depending on how many comments we get, I'm just going to start just doing some random giveaways. Like I said, I'll be giving away the paperback for More Than a Vampire, and or if you've already read that one, or if you'd rather have More Than a Gunslinger, then you can ask for that. I also have some pretty cool stickers, as well as, of course, you gotta have the bookmarks. But yeah, there's a huge. If you're not from Ohio or not from the general area that touches Ohio, there's a huge festival, and it's like the last of the northern kind of festivals. It's called the Pumpkin Show, and it gets about 100,000 people there. My wife sets up a booth. She sells earrings. She sells hundreds of earrings every year there. And last year, she grabbed some of my books, and she's like, "Oh, we'll just kind of throw them out here," and they just sold out immediately. So I was like, well, dang, I better make sure I have some on. So my goal is to have More Than a God War. It'll be published before then, because I think Pumpkin Show is like October 21st or something along those lines. And so, I'll have all three books. I'm gonna try to have a good stack of all of them. So if you happen to be in the Ohio area, October 21st, and you want to come, it's Central Ohio. It's a fun time, and I'll be signing books because I'm actually taking my vacation that week to kind of help her out. But also, it works out that I'll be sitting there for most of the day, and be able to sell and sign books. But yeah, with my channel here, I'm gonna try, like, I'm reaching out to a lot more people, and even like as you see with Greg, I'm trying to reach out even kind of beyond BookTube too, to media people who review movies, because I start off as like a cinephile. That's all I did throughout high school. Is I didn't go to parties, nothing. I played sports and I watched movies, and that was the extent. So I'm trying to find other YouTubers that are into that kind of stuff, and I just want to get more conversations. I was actually on an OK Dudes channel. He hasn't posted um, our chat yet, but that was like a 2 hour. It was like a 2 hour chat, just me and him. It was a good time. But like, yeah, I want to try to do more than that. I want to try to have more people on my channel. I would like to be on more people's channels, and because I really think that's what especially BookTube is all about. It's about coming together, talking about the books we love. Right now, I'm trying to finish the third book of Song of Ice and Fire. And yeah, that's a beast. I think might be the biggest one, like it's like 1,200 pages, over 1,100 pages or something like that. And then, because I got the last book in Mistborn, Hero of Ages, and then I have Sword of Destiny. Actually, as soon as I finish this book, I got to get to Sword of Destiny before Sunday. So I wanted to kind of keep it fresh in my head. But those are the last. So I have 3 books left that I need to read by the end of this month. Next month is going to be a crazy month, and I'll have my TBR video. But I am doing a readathon with Andrew from Andrew's Switzerly Reads. He's doing a whole thing with his Discord, and so I think I have 8 books, which would tie my record for the most books I've ever read in a month, which is like, it's good in a way, because like the rules of this thing is you have to have some form of review, whether it's a video review, Amazon review, or Goodreads. You have to post some kind of review. Gotta love people mowing, right? But with this, so that's going to be like 8. I'm going to try and do all these books as reviews, like video reviews. So next month is going to be full of book reviews, which I think is really the backbone of BookTube. Like, I know some people, once you get to a certain level, like my biggest videos are mostly book review videos. I think I have two right now that are over 1,000. Both of them are book reviews. I mean, I have some of my lives were pretty big, but like some people, they're like, oh, they just don't do well, so they don't do. But I'm like, you have to. If you're BookTube, you got to get some book reviews out there. So look out next month for a ton of book reviews, at least 8. I might actually combine and do like a one video with like 2 books or whatnot. But after that, I'm going to begin, because I'm almost finished with my 4th book, which is an anthology of 8 characters from the previous 3 books. They're getting their own stories. And then in October, I'm going to start writing my next full-length novel. So the reading will kind of come down from, I've been averaging about 6 to 7 books a month. 6 or 7 books a month is what I kind of average. But I'll probably take that down to like a book a week once I start writing my next novel. Yeah. It's what people actually. Yeah, exactly, Chaz. Yeah, that's what people are searching for. They especially like if you get a book review like as it first releases, you'll get a lot of traction there. But then they just, I'll be checking my studio, and just randomly I'll still have like the Dresden Files reviews, Cradle reviews, still kind of, and it's not always like, and normally the first the first book in the series will get the most, will get the most views, because that's what, a lot of people will pick a book up and they'll just read the first book, and if they like it, if they don't, whatever. But I mean, I'm still getting reviews for like middle books in the Dresden Files and Cradle, and some other First Law stuff. Every once in a while will pop up. But yeah, I would tell people, like, and I've seen this, right? And there's nothing, nothing, like, if just, it's smart if you're trying to grow a channel. Like, I would tell people, like, if your goal is to specifically grow a booktube channel, like that's your whole thing. You just want to grow it as fast as you can. Like, just jump into the Wheel of Time. You can do like the Wheel of Time. Malazan seems to do really well. Do some of, like, the Witcher stuff. It's okay, but yeah, like, just do all the big series right off the bat, and just do a bunch of first books. Like, and I'll see, like, a lot of bigger booktubers will still do that. They don't do a lot of, like, continuing through series reviews. They'll just do, like, and I don't know if they continue. I assume they continue and read on through the series, but like a lot of bigger booktubers, they only will specifically do the first book in series, and then they'll just do another first book, because that's what's going to get you the most reviews. And I guess if you already have a audience, it kind of keeps things fresh, because they're like, oh, something new. But Jimmy from the Jimmy Network, he kind of made that joke on one of his lives. He's like, oh yeah, I sold out. I already did all the big series. But, like, for me, I never expected to, get a lot of subscribers. To be honest, it's been better than I expected, because I actually didn't know how much time I'd be able to devote to the channel, because I work 10 hours a day, and I try to write. I coach my son's football team, and so I am burning the candle at both ends at all times. But I have, my wife has been super supportive, and she's like, allows me to kind of sneak in here and bust these videos out when I need to, I guess. But yeah, for me, I just want to do videos that I want to do. If I find a book that I'm interested in, I'm going to do a review on it, and I will try my best and continue to do book reviews throughout the series. There's, what is it, like, I probably do video reviews for 9 out of 10 of the books that I read. There's been a couple where I was just like with Sandman Slim. Sandman Slim's popular, but I came into Sandman Slim when it was like on its last year. So there was only like one book that was being released. So, the super excitement and everything, like when I came into Cradle, it was just like every Cradle video I did was like views. I knew I was going to get views with the Cradle books, because they were still in their kind of frenzy as the books were still being released. But like Salmon Slim, I kind of stopped doing reviews about book 5. I do want to do a series overview since I finished the series, but it just, especially I started doing Sandman Slim when my channel was super small. So it just didn't feel like worth the time to do a video and only get like 20 views. Now, I'm starting to do more like opinion pieces, which I really like doing, but they're really hit or miss. Like, they're really hit or miss with the opinion pieces. Like, some of them will get like 20 views, and then others will get like 100 views or so. I think it just all depends. But the opinion pieces are the funnest ones because I like the interaction, and when people comment on it, it's an opinion thing, right? So you're gonna get their opinion, and you can kind of go back and forth. The only thing that, hey, there he is. Hey. Yeah, Britton there. If you guys weren't on here a minute ago, me and him I was actually over on his channel a week ago or so. But yeah, when he posts up the video, I don't think he's posted it yet, but when he posts the video, I'll put that on my community tab and kind of push it out there because it was a fun time. It was one of the funnest interviews I've had, at least for me being interviewed. It was one of the funnest things. So everybody should go check out the channel Some OK Dude, and he does it seems like he does a lot of interviews over there. And yeah, they're super funny. There's always parts where people are cracking up talking, and I know we did for like 2 hours. But yeah, so like I said, I don't know if I have all the books already laid out that I'm going to be reading in September for Andrew's readathon, but yeah, I know I know book 4 from a Game of Thrones will be in there. And I'm trying to think of what else, because I'm finishing the Mistborn trilogy this month. I'm going to finish that this month. So I don't think I'm going to run right into Mistborn Era 2. While I've got some of you here, like, what are you guys reading right now? And are you have any big plans for the up and coming month with your books? Just go ahead and drop them in the comment section there. But yeah, so I'm going to continue The Witcher. So I believe Blood of Elves will be in September, and that's the first official book for The Witcher. And if any of you here have your own channel and you want to jump on for The Witcher discussions, I think, like I said, we got 4 people, have 2 more spots open. So next Sunday will be the Sword of Destiny. So if you've read the Sword of Destiny and it's fresh in your mind, or it's a short book, if you want to try to read it and then jump on with us next Sunday, just let me know. And then going forward, we're going to try and do a book a month, because they're not very big books except for the last one, but it may be a month and a half, 2 months in between doing the Witcher discussions. Because, we did a whole year long, Chaz was there with me. We did a whole year long Dresden Files discussions, which was great because that's my favorite book series of all time. I mean, if you guys can't see, I got autographed copies of Changes, which is my favorite book of all time. We got Battlegrounds, and behind me you can't see it, but Peace Talks is up there, and then I got a bunch of different memorabilia. I've got like McAnally's pint glasses. I've got Lashiel's coin, Black and Daenerys is up there, and then my wife just bought me a little replica of. Let's see if I can pull it up. The little replica of the blue beetle of Harry's car, and then I don't know if it'll show up real nice here, but yeah, there you go. That's the Black and Daenerys, one of the 30 pieces of silver. But yeah, so I got all kinds of crazy stuff, and I'm trying to fit. Yeah, I'm trying to fit more, I'm trying to get more Stephen King in. I've been meaning to read Pet Sematary forever. I have the book. I actually have it back here. I don't know if you can kind of see it. Yeah, so I'm trying to get to that, but like Game of Thrones is awesome, and then but I have two like 1,000-page books this month, with Hero of Ages and Storm of Swords, I think. Or and yeah, so it's just hard, man. It is I'm trying not to burn myself out, because right as I came onto BookTube, I kind of burned myself out because I read, before I was on BookTube, I read the first three Malazan books and the last book of the Dark Tower series, which all those books are over 900 pages, and I read all four of them in like a month and a half, um, which was not a great idea. And I will say, so that burned me out. So there for a long time, I was trying to keep all my books like 500 pages or lower. But it, kind of helped that I was reading through the Dresden Files and reading all of Cradle, which Cradles, they're all pretty short. Which, I think the last Cradle book was around 500 pages, but like the rest of them are low 300s, I think. But yeah, so I'm trying not to burn myself out on these big books again as I've gotten into more of them. But it's it's hard with Brandon Sanderson, because it seems like after Mistborn, I've heard, I haven't looked. All right, Chaz, thanks for stopping by, man. And I'm sure I'm gonna have Chaz, me and Chaz will collab again at some point, because Chaz is an awesome guy. And I was on Chaz's live for his, I think his 4-year anniversary on BookTube, but I was, telling him, I was like, yeah, well, like, who's your go-to booktubers? And I just said that because I just started thinking in my head, like, I tend to like ebbs and flows with who I'm watching, and I tend to find new people like Philip Chase. I've watched like almost all of Philip Chase stuff. It's funny because through Philip Chase I got into watching A Critical Dragon, right? And so it seems like a lot of times when I'll put out opinion pieces, I'll get the Critical Dragon riled up, and he'll jump in and he'll write a whole like wall of opinion on my opinion pieces, which I enjoy. I think that's great, and I think that's, and I would actually I'd like to, hey John, appreciate it, man. And that's another thing I would like to do more of here on BookTube. I'd actually, I mean, I haven't floated it out to a lot of people yet, so I can't say this for a fact, but I feel like it might be a little bit harder to get people in BookTube to actually get on for like a debate, because I would love to have people just debate things, do like a whole series of debates about random stuff like first person, third person, which is better, why is it better, what's the best book series and why do people not like this book series. I've brought up, it's so weird, I brought up Sarah J Maas so much in like this last month, just because her stuff seems to be super divisive. Like, people either seem to like love her and love everything she does, or they hate everything she does. And her book, the first book in the Crescent City, was the first book I ever DNF'd, and I felt bad because I'm one of these people, like, if I start a book, I'm gonna finish it. I don't care if I don't like it. I'm a glutton for punishment. But so I was like, all right, a couple months later, I was like, well, let's just read the first, and the Crescent City book was like 800 pages. And I think that was the main reason why. If it was a 400-page book, I might have just suffered through it. But I'm like, I'm not going to sit here through an 800-page book if I'm just not loving it. And then, so I was like, well, I'll read her book, A Throne of Glass. That's the first one, right? And it was only like I don't even know if it was 400 pages, like high 300s. And it was good, I get, for me, and not written for me, obviously. It's written for more of a female audience. But, I objectively, it just unbiased opinion about it. It's like, it was a good book. Hey man, I appreciate it, man. I'm glad you're liking the content. If you're new, like I've just talked about, I've been sprinkling more opinion pieces and stuff. So channels like adding some stuff, and I'm gonna be doing a ton of interviews and chats here. But yeah, with like the whole Sarah J. Maas thing, and I did. Oh, congratulations, man! Yeah, I know we were talking. We talked about that a lot. So great on you, man. I can't wait to see how it comes out. I'll always encouraging people, man. Like if you're writing, like don't stop. Try to write every day. I did a video with JCM Byrne and AR with him, and it was just three authors just bullshitting. I think I drank most of my scotch, so it was a fun time. But we talked about like writing process and just chit chatting about how we come up with ideas and stuff. And that's really the thing, man. Just try to write every day, even if it's just a little bit. Like with this anthology that I'm writing right now, I'm almost done. I'm like a chapter and a half away from being done. Edit and re-edit and start another project. Yep, that's the way it is, man. But yeah, so my next book, it's ready. Morning God War is ready. I just got to plug it into KDP. Like I said, I'm not rushing it because I'm kind of waiting on the audiobook. But I have everything done. It's edited and all that. It's professionally edited and it's ready to go. But with I've been kind of slow playing my anthology, but it'll be ready and it'll be edited and everything. So it'll probably come out April-ish. So I'll have the third book release in October. Then I'll have that one come out in April. But I've been kind of slow playing it because I'm already kind of ahead and I've been working on my other book and stuff. So hopefully I'll be working on book 5 in October. But yeah, I mean, just that's my one piece of advice to people is just write something every day. If you can get 100 words down, if you just get 100 words every day, you'll see how easy it is to do 100. And as you write more, I really think most people just need to get to 300 a day. If you get to 300 a day and you just have a book that you're working on, especially if it's your first book, 300 words a day, by the end of the year, you'll have a full length 90 to 100,000 word novel. Yeah, research is it's one of the funnest things. I always tell people, like, if you looked at the search history on my phone, you'd be like, what the heck is going on here? Because like I try to be very accurate with because my first book takes place from 1639 to 1700. My second book takes place in 1869. And then the third book is a sequel to the first book. So it's taking place, just after 1700. So I have to make sure that all the cities exist because it exists kind of like an urban fantasy. It exists in our world. It's just every mythology is real. So I have to make sure that, like, if it's 1680, I have to make sure that this city actually existed in 1680. And then like people are like, well, how do you come up? I have people ask me, how do you come up with your names for your characters and stuff? And honestly, what I do is I go into Google or whatever, Wikipedia, and I look popular names from Sweden in the 1700s, you know? So I'm like doing all kinds of research, and I research the weapons, make sure the weapons were around in that time. And a lot of my research is on mythological creatures because I use, Philip Chase, kind of said that it kind of has that feel of Dresden and The Witcher, which is, he was dead on. But like I do a lot of creatures in my books, and I tried a lot of times, like I do have some original creatures, but a lot of times I like to use, actual mythological creatures, and I use ones that most people have heard of, but then I also use some that like nobody, nobody's read, or no hardly anybody knows, but but those mythologies still persist out there. So, if a mythology or a mythological creature has stayed the test of time for 1,000 years, then it's pretty cool then, right? If people keep writing about it till this day. So I'll do research on creatures, and I'll figure out a great way, whether it's like a lake monster or a river monster or something. I kind of work those into my books, like, if my character or whatever is trying to cross a river or something, then bam, it gets hit with, this mythological European, creature or whatever. But yeah, that's a lot of my research is, reading more mythology and figuring out clever ways to work that into my books. And I've been having, some of the people who have read through my books, they're like, how many do you got? What's your plan? And kind of the way I've always thought about it when I first started this was I was going to set this up kind of like a comic book universe. So like there's no direct end to the More Than Human universe. It'll just, all have trilogies here and there, and, characters might have their own arc where they stop, or maybe the character's not a super long-lived character or an immortal character. So if I'm writing them from the 1700s, well, they're dead by now, so their arcs may end, and I'm like I said, we jump back and forth, from 1700 to 1869, and then I don't want to give too much away about book 5, but it's going to take place during the Roman age, around 100 AD. So, times are going to jump back and forth, and you'll see if, you'll get to see if you met a certain god or something like that. You'll get to see what they were up to beforehand. But I have a 6-book plan, and initially it's going to be like a 6-book plan to kind of be the base. And really, these ones will open most parts of the world. And then after those 6 books, we'll start seeing more urban fantasy, more modern fantasy. And I've also been pretty excited because I've been researching like modern mythologies, and I do those in my shorts, like Slender Man and Siren Head and all kinds of stuff like that. So I have some pretty cool ideas about creatures and modern mythology that I'm going to pull up, and I already have several characters thought of for like my urban fantasy once I get there. But yeah, so I mean, I have a lot of plans, big plans. But like I said, I'm gonna, as I've seen my sales and stuff with these audiobooks, especially the audiobooks are actually selling pretty well. And that's what I will say. Like, if you're a self-pub person and you can afford it, because this is not cheap. It's definitely not cheap. I'm actually in a better financial situation than when I first started publishing. So that's kind of lucky for me, or, hard work to get there. But that can help you out a lot. If people see that you got an audiobook, because audiobooks are grown every year. I think it's like now it's like 30% of all books consumed are like audiobooks now. So, and that's probably only going to go up. But I've also had people, I remember when I first released More Than a Vampire, I had people that are like, hey, can it's like, I don't really read a lot, but that cover is really cool, and I just want to put it up on my mantle. And I'm like, you know what? That's cool, man. Because you might have somebody over, you might have somebody over at your house that likes to read. So it's cool on you if you want it, just because the art's amazing. Yeah. So I mean, I can never thank my cover artist enough, Matthew Allen Bond. So he's done all three, and we've talked about some other projects that me and him might be working on. So we're closing in here on an hour, but if you would like one of my books, just like I said, if you haven't commented already, comment. Even if we go off live and you just make a comment in the normal comment section, I'm going to be doing some giveaways. I'll contact you. I'll let you know if you've won. Actually, Rockmano, if you would like a book, obviously, just let me know which book you would like. Anybody here, if you would like a book, like I said, I got a whole bunch of them. I'll sign it, and I'm going to send a few of these books out. And I'll probably even add in some swag with that. But thank you all for hanging out here. And the news, lots of videos, lots of collabs coming up. Can't wait for you all to see it. And remember, be more